Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, July 28th. It is 6:20 right now. Market's going to open in about 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and we get started with our analysis for today. So I just got to update a couple of things here and get this link sent out to you guys in the premium. So just give me a few moments for me to finish this up, and we should be good to go. All right. Looks good. A few more things here to update. And it looks like we're good. Let me get this link sent out to you guys in the premium. All right. Looks good. All right, we'll give a few minutes for people to make their way in. As people join, I'm going to go ahead and mark up my confluences over here for the breakout. All right, cool. Looks like people are making their way in right now. So let's see who's here. All right. Morning, Peter. Morning, Jennifer. Morning, Marlon. Morning, David. Morning, B. Morning, Kenny. Morning, everybody. I got another thing to show you guys later today too. I literally just noticed it on the on GJ. There's like this one, and I'll go into it in detail. Basically, it's like catching these moves when price breaks outside of these consolidation zones. Someone was mentioning this to me the other day. Basically the trend meter down here, when it goes from like green to blue, this basically means that price is like going into consolidation. And then from there, you can draw like high lows here, because someone was asking me if they can apply the high low strategy on GJ, and you can. It's just identifying where to identify where the actual solid high lows are. Like, for example, this right here, if this candle broke below it, could have taken a high low there. It just depends. Like, I need to figure out where the TP stop loss needs to be at, because sometimes it's TP can be at, or stop loss can be at the swing high, but this is like 300 pips, way too high. Or there can either be like a minimal area, like something like that, and you can go for like a 1-to-1 for break even, or for like just your first TP, and then second TP could be a ×2, so like a 1-to-2. But we'll go over that later if we have some free time. It's just something that you guys can apply if you guys want to trade forex, because I know some of you guys still do like to trade forex. And if you guys have ideas, just let me know and I can look at it and see if there's anything that you guys can do specifically to improve that strategy. So, or some way to implement like one of the already used strategies. So anyways, it's 6:24 right now, guys. Good morning. I'm going to go ahead and mark up the biases right now. So let's take a look at the overall bias. Sentiment right now is currently 59% short. So this is really good. It's finally pushing up to like 60%, whereas like our target, we want it to be typically 60 to 65% or more in a direction. Right now it's at 59. So it's getting really close to that 60% threshold, indicating that market is bullish, or retail traders are currently selling. So we're going to be trading bullish the opposite way. So right now, overall bias is, let me look at the fundamentals real quick. Fundamentals are kind of flat. So they're not going to be too useful, but we're going to use this as the initial checklist for confluences. So it's bullish right now. Current trend is also bullish. Reason for that is because price, where the trend meter down here is green, and the pivots are basically green over red. So with the pivots looking like this indicates that it's a strong bullish trend, plus the trend meter over here is another confirmation. So it's bullish as well. Going down to the next confluence, high-low continuation. So it's not present for a buy, and it's not present for a sell. So not present. So that's probably not going to be useful for us. High-low candle reversal. So if we're looking for a, just go on 10. So if we're looking for a buy, it's not present here. And there's not going to be one for a sell either. So it's not present in either direction. Additional strategy confluence. We'll have to see when the market actually opens. So it doesn't look like we're going to be having a sell today, guys, because we already have two that are marked out here. So for the breakout, if we get a sell, I'm probably not going to take it. I'll probably be looking for a buy. Or I'll probably be, if we get a sell here for the breakout, I'll be looking for it to swing back up for basically entry for on retracement. Because right here, we already have a couple of things that already cancel it out, right? If we get a sell, overall bias is bullish, so that's not going to apply. Current trend is also bullish, so that's not going to apply. There's no continuation for the high lows, and there's also no high-low candle reversal either for low. So there's a lot of things here that already indicate that it's not going to apply. There's an additional strategy confluence possibly if it stays below here, because this high right here has a V1 that's currently running, or already hit TP, but that's the most recent strategy. But other than that, there's not, there isn't anything here really pointing towards the sell. So if we do get a sell, I'll probably do the opposite, take a buy. And if we get a buy, I'll probably take the buy. But I got to make sure that this candle here, or the entry candle, is not too big. So I already got this marked up here already for the breakout. Looking at the news this morning, there's a couple of things here indicating another reason why I'm not looking for a sell is because it says stock futures look soft. It says US equities market were set for a week open Thursday. Typically when CNBC reports something, the market does the opposite. So it reported that the market's going to be bearish. I think it's going to be bullish. It's just, something that everyone pretty much notices. If you look at the news. So one thing to really confirm this is just look at the news each morning. If the news says something that price is going to be bullish or bearish, identify the opposite. And then you'll see that typically that's usually what happens. So I'm definitely looking for a buy today. But price, here's the biggest red flag here. Price is super overextended, right? Price has been pushing up since 5:30 right here. So it's going to have to come back down at some point, kind of like what happened right here. Price pushed up, retraced, it's pushing back up. It's going to have to retrace at some point. So that's why you want to be a bit careful. If we do get a buy, probably want to wait a little bit for it to retrace, unless the candle is like not that huge, then probably just enter right away. So I got this marked up right here. Looks like everybody's here now. So let's see. Cool. All right, Kenny. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Rashida. Morning, Al. Morning, Flenmy. Morning, Maria. Morning, Marco. Morning, Cern. Morning, Ross. Morning, everybody. So market is opening now. Market is now open. So let's see if we get that strong green candle. We currently have a bullish momentum right here. So we're looking for a strong green candle here for us to take this this breakout. But if the candle is too big, if it's more than 500 pips, then I'm going to wait a little bit because it's going to possibly retrace a little bit before continuing its push to the upside, right? So get everything set up here. Looks good. Looks good. I will be using a trailing stop for this. Market has still been a bit choppy, but once it smoothens out, I'll stop using the trailing stop. Right now, I'm still going to use it. Trailing stop set at 150. So let's see if this closes here. If it closes as a strong green candle, meaning little to no wick on the top side, then I will take this here for the breakout. See, it's almost there, and it looks like it's good. So oh wait, it didn't close yet. No. It's weird. I think it froze for a second there. That was weird. It looked like it closed and then it kept going. So, all right, let's see, where's that right now? This candle here is kind of big, so I'm not in it yet. I'm looking to enter it when it comes back up. Let me see where it's at right now. I'm looking at the MT4 price because the trading view looks like it's lagging a little bit. So I'm looking at entry price right now. I can make that entry. As it swings back up, I do have my trailing stop at 150. So when it does push up 150, it's going to move my stop loss and profit. And then it'll pretty much trail it as it moves up higher. So I'm watching MT4 right here. Pricing is a little laggy on trading view. Yeah, pricing is a little off. See how far this pushes. So it doesn't look like there's much in the way, but the pricing is moving a bit different. MT4 and trading view. All right, so I'm in the position right now. It's filled it at entry. Currently in profit about 1,000. Trailing stop didn't kick in yet. Yeah, Matsy said TV is kind of dead. So I'm just gonna let it be. I have the trailing stop running anyway, so I'm just gonna let it, do what it needs to do as it continues to move along. And it didn't move it. Let me see how far it push up right here. Price range. So the trailing stop didn't kick in. It was like literally at the spot, like at 150. The trailing stop was supposed to kick in at break even at that point, but mine is still running right now. See how this has been moving over here. Let me check the fundamentals real quick, see how the fundamentals are moving. Fundamentals are currently slightly bullish, not very strong, but they're up like 59 points. Looking at the sentiment is still at 58%. So I do think it's going to swing back up. It's just going to take a matter of time until it swings back up. It's just markets being super choppy right now and open. I don't know if it looks different on my side. So my stop loss is a little lower. Man, it's probably gonna hit my stop loss. If it does, it's all good. Fuck, it hit my stop loss. So I got stopped out on this entry right here, guys. It's all good. It happens. My trailing stop didn't kick in. It was supposed to kick in right here at 150 pips. It didn't kick in because it just got like right next to it, but it didn't actually trigger it. I was in profit about 1,400, and then it didn't kick in. It happens. It was just off by like maybe a few pips or so. Unfortunately, you did hit stop loss off this one. This is the first stop loss for the breakout this week. We had a win for Monday, Tuesday, no breakout yesterday, and then one loss here on Thursday. So for the week so far, it's 2 wins, 1 loss. And we'll keep moving along with this entry. There's another strategy here that, oh crap. There's another strategy here. Basically, let me see if I could maybe get it for half. Another strategy that we've been kind of looking at, basically, I think it's too late. Okay, so there's another strategy here that me and Maddie have been looking at. It's basically what John has been applying. Like if you get a daily entry here and it's opposite of the trend meter, you take it for a buy. So even though this right here would have, or let me just, I'm going to mark up that it hit stop loss first before I move forward. But there's a way to apply the daily over here where it just give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. I'm just gonna put that hit this at stop loss. Our breakout today. Two to one this week. Oh, man, yeah, my trailing stop was too close. I'll go over that strategy right now, guys, to show you guys. It only kicked me out at like 50 bucks. So I covered that loss by like 50 bucks, but I'll show you guys right now how that strategy that works. So currently 2-1, 2 wins. Lots of speed for the US30. Monday win. Tuesday loss. Oh no, sorry, Tuesday win. Wednesday no entry. So I do think price is going to come back up, but unfortunately, we got stopped out. It like spiked down and then it came right back up. Typical for like this week's market conditions with the earnings being released. I'm not sure if there was earnings pre-market or on open, but I'll show you guys the other entry. So I just put this here. I just want to be 100% transparent with you guys. You know, I do post losses and wins. It's just that we don't really lose very often. That's why it looks like I don't really post losses. So I'm just going to put that up right there so that you guys are fully aware that today was a loss. But anyways, clean this up right here. For that breakout entry that I was pretty much talking about, I'm not breakout, the daily. This is similar to the strategy that John's applying on the 3-minute. So what he does is basically he looks for a counter trend trade. So for this right here, actually I did it wrong. I applied it wrong. This was actually supposed to be a sell, but it wouldn't apply in this case. I screwed up. I thought this was buy because I thought this was a counter trend trade in the opposite direction. But this right here, or where's Maddie at? Maddie, are you here? Maddie, do you have the requirements for the for this one right here? Would we take a sell or a buy? It's technically a sell. Okay, so Maddie is referring to this as a sell right here. How many? What was the TP stop loss? So actually, I take that back, guys. I wouldn't have taken this trade here because I'm looking for a buy. The confluences here don't necessarily line up because we're looking for a buy here. So for the daily on this, we would still look at the confluence checklist and it would be for a buy because the overall bias right here is bullish. So that wouldn't apply for a sell. Current trend is also bullish. That wouldn't apply there. High-low continuation. There was nothing there. High-low candle reversal, nothing there. Yeah, there isn't anything here to enter indicating to take a sell aside from there's a V1 right there. So this right here wouldn't work for that strategy. Maddie said it's 50. Yeah, so this would technically be the entry if like the confluences did align for that daily entry. Basically, the way that this strategy works is, and Maddie's tested it pretty much. He's tested, how far did you test it back, Maddie? I think you tested it like about 30 days or so. Like as far as the testing works. But basically, the way that this strategy works is that you're looking for the daily, which is the first momentum signal after open, which is 6:30 right here. And then once you identify the first momentum signal, it doesn't have to be valid or invalid. It just needs to be a momentum signal indicating, what direction price is going. So if you have that identified, you want to look at the trend meter. If the trend meter is green, you want to take the opposite to sell. And then vice versa, if the trend meter is red and you get an opposite signal, you want to take it in that direction too. So this would technically be an entry if the confluences did line up, but it didn't line up here. So we would have just skipped this one. If this was red down here and this was green, then we would take it in the opposite direction for a buy. So I could probably show you guys some examples for that a little later, or if you guys want me to show you guys now, I can do that as well. But let's go to the 3-minute, and I'm going to see if like John's strategy applies here. It hasn't applied here yet. I mean, it hasn't come up yet, but it would also be for a sell here. The confluences, however, wouldn't line up here as well. So confluence checklist right here. This we'd be looking for a sell signal. Trend meter here, and there it is right there as we see it. The only problem with this is that the requirements don't align. I mean, not the requirements, the confluences. So let me take a look at John's parameters again. He does 30-30. So he does 30-30 typically. However, this candle here is just way too big. So this can easily hit stop loss before it actually comes down. Yeah, thanks, John. So John confirmed it. John said confluences won't line up on counter trend trades. Yeah, and I agree. Because it's going to be against the like the trend's never going to be there, right? Yeah, Maddie, did you take that into consideration with your back test? Because I didn't realize that until John mentioned that. He basically mentioned that the confluences will never apply for the counter trend trade because the trend's actually never going to align with it. So I think for that specific strategy, we might not even need the confluences. We would just have to pay attention to the red flags. That'd probably be the main thing. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so this here actually would have been the entry. It looks like it's about to hit full TP. All right, so now that we know that, let me take a look at the news for this morning. So this morning over here, we had news on the 28th, 5:30. All right, so 5:30 over here. I'm gonna mark up the I'm gonna mark up all of the price points right here. Let's see. Matsy said, I think we should have not taken the breakout near London session high. I don't even see it on here. Where's the London session high at? Oh, because it hasn't updated yet. Yeah, Matsy, I get you. So there's the news price right there. I'm gonna mark up the London open as well. There's midnight at. Midnight was right over here. And US open. It's gonna be right over here. See if there's any other news today. News. Treasury Secretary Yellen's going to be speaking today. I'm not sure if she's speaking right now. Let me check YouTube real quick. YouTube. Search up Yellen. Live. I don't see her on the streams, so I don't think she's speaking yet. Okay, so that's good to know. She didn't affect the market necessarily. But yeah, so going back to the daily strategy, if you guys have been following the lives for the past couple of days, John mentioned a way of counter trend trading the daily, or not necessarily counter trend trading it, but it's using it as a confluence. So for the daily strategy right here, you're basically looking for the first valid K2 momentum signal, right? So like looking over here at the 10-minute daily, you're basically looking for the first momentum signal after New York Stock Exchange open. So 630 is right here. You're looking for the first valid K2 momentum signal, which is right here. We might have to change some of these requirements here because these are going to be counterproductive if we're looking to confirm overall bias. This isn't going to line up with John's way of applying it. So we might have to take that requirement off for the 1 minute. And you're just looking for the first momentum signal. It doesn't have to be valid. It can be invalid. You just want to see that it's in the opposite direction of the trend. With that said, with this here present, this is where the entry would be because this is the first momentum signal. Trend meter is green, so you do the opposite, take a sell. You can either take it right away or you can wait for it to pull back a little bit and then make an entry. But pretty much for the most part, this is where the entry would be. And you can see right here that it does hit TP. It retraces back a little bit, but eventually does come back down to hit full TP. So we'll see where that goes from here moving forward. I'll be looking at this suit because so my main thing that I'm looking at is like once a day strategies, right? I'm looking for the breakout. The breakout's been pretty okay this week. We had 1 win on Monday, 1 win on Tuesday, no trade yesterday, and 1 loss today. So it's still 2-1. So if you're doing a 2% risk, today would have wiped out, say, Tuesday's profits, and then Monday would still be net profitable, 2%. So with that said, we'll keep moving along. And if we can add this to it, where we have a second entry, that'll give you 2 opportunities to enter. So you'll have the breakout, then you'll have the daily. And then if you want to apply the 3-minute, here's a 3-minute right here. This hit full TP too. So I'm not sure if you took it, John, but this is what we were looking for earlier, right? We were looking for this entry here on the 3-minute a few minutes ago. The trend meter here is green. The entry here was red. So again, same thing. See 3-minute daily. Here, I'm going to put this right here. We're just going to recall it 3-minute daily strategy, counter trend, confluence. So basically, you don't want to confirm the bias anymore. That's not necessary. Confirm first K2 momentum signal. Where you confirm trend meter opposite of momentum. Turn the open of the falling candle. I think for this, we can use a fixed TP stop loss of 300 pips. Cut off is 8 a.m., basically the live time. Or we can do 9. All right, so I'm going to save this as the K2 US30 3-minute daily. K2 3-minute daily US30. K2. Just going to override it. What I call it. forgot what I called it. Okay, so I'm gonna delete these other ones since we're not really gonna be using them anymore. I mean, that was never set in place anyways. So, okay, this is the strategy that we've been looking at pretty much every day the past couple weeks now. So basically for this is another once a day strategy. It's basically the daily on the 3 minute, the daily on the 1 minute. This is something that you can add on top of the breakout. So say, for example, you lose the breakout like we did today, right? We lose the breakout here for 500 pips. We have the daily that comes up next. If we were to take this trade here, this would have covered that loss. So we would have been back at break even for the day. And then if you saw it on the 3 minute here and you took this and you're taking same percent of risk, right? 1 to 2%. So say the breakout you lost, that's 1% loss. You win the 1 minute breakout or 1 minute daily, you're now break even. You take the 1 minute or the 3 minute daily over here, pretty much the same strategy, just on a higher time frame, and you win this trade. Now you'd be in net positive profit for the day. Again, for the 10 minute, you can also apply it on the 10, but it doesn't come up as often, at least not within our little time frame here between the 6:30 and 8 o'clock. This right here wouldn't applying the counter trend because it is it lines up with the trend meter. So for the counter trend moves, I haven't really looked on the 10 minute. I think it does work though. Let me look over here real quick from yesterday. So there was no entry here yesterday. The day before that, on the 26th, so this is the 26th right here. I think if you counter trend trade on the 10, you have to do it with a smaller TP because you're not really expecting to reverse that hard. This is the counter trend trade on the 26th, which was Tuesday. So it does work. I mean, looking at this right here, same thing right here. Trend meter is green. It's an opposite entry, and it plays out. So this kind of works both ways. If you want to apply the regular daily, so this basically gives you the opportunity to trade it either way. So the 10-minute daily here, this is the original strategy. You have to confirm the bias, right? This is the main thing that you're looking for. The bias here is bullish. So if you didn't get a buy entry here, there would be no entry for the daily. But if you're applying the confluence for a counter trend trade, and it is a counter trend trade, you can actually take it the opposite way. So instead of just skipping the trade, you can take it for the opposite move. I think for the counter trend trade, you want to go for a smaller TP though, because it's not typically going to push that far every time. So this right here, I mean, it works pretty solid. It looks like it looks good on the 10. It also looks good on the 3, and it also looks good on the 1. So this strategy could basically be applied both ways. You can apply it using the actual strategy. So this is, the actual strategy. You confirm the bias. If the bias isn't there and it does the opposite, you can actually take the opposite direction. So this is kind of beneficial because it gives you opportunities to analyze it in 2 ways, kind of similar to how we analyze it for the breakout. So, all right, guys. I think that's it for this right here. Let me see if there's any questions here in the chat before I confirm. Okay, Deswell said, yeah, my 3-minute daily works at least 85%. Need to start taking it again. Yeah, no, definitely Deswell. So Deswell is actually the person that thought about this first. The 3-minute daily. So for the 3-minute daily here, this actually works. I mean, both ways. You can take it like, for example, here, this would actually be the daily because we don't confirm. Well, Deswell doesn't look at the overall bias. This would have been the same entry that Deswell would be applying. So something to keep in mind. And Deswell confirmed that 3-minute daily works at least 85% of the time. So good to know. All right. Other than that, let me see if there's anything else that I missed here. Let's see, Matsy said we got manipulated pretty easily. We ignored. Also, we entered on the first candle. The real momentum candle appeared at 6:33. Yeah, this one right here. Yeah, no, and I agree too, Matthew. It's all good. It happens. But that's one way that you can apply it. So if you lose on the breakout, you can take the actual momentum here the opposite way, and you can just pretty much cover it because they're both for 500 pips. So lose this one here for like 2%, win this one 2%, you're back at break even. And then you can apply whatever other strategies you guys want to apply from there. Like John said, he took a counter trend trade, got stopped out in profit using a 15-point trailing stop. Yeah, I did too, John. Fortunately, I got stopped out at about 47 bucks. So my trailing stop didn't trail it far enough. It kicked in, and then it basically just got me out of break even. Let's see what else I got over here. Let me scroll up real quick. All right, Randy, we'll see you tomorrow. So Randy said he's done for the day. Scroll up real quick. Question from Matsy. Matsy said, do you think luck is a factor as a trader? I think luck, it does have some sort of coincidence in the market sometimes, but like what Surin said, edge is a better word. Like an edge that we have is when we use these confluences, right? If the confluences are present, then we have an edge in the market, or if we know the direction of price using bias, we have an edge in the market. But luck does have a play sometimes, right? Because sometimes you'll see price get really close to your stop loss and it'll just go the opposite way. Or sometimes you'll take a random trade like on accident, like an opposite trade. Like for me, for example, for this trade right here, it was supposed to be a sell, but I actually took it for a buy because I kind of misconstrued it. And then it pushed up right here and it actually gave me like some slight profit. So that trade right there was luck because I took that accidentally in the opposite direction. But for the most part, I don't like to depend on luck. I like to depend on the confluences. I like to have objective objective confluences to confirm that, I know where price is going and I'm not just taking random trades in both directions. So let me scroll up real quick. Steven said my alarm didn't work today. I'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, it's all good, Steven. The trade didn't play out anyways, so you're good. Yeah, Maddie said his trailing stop should have kicked in as well, but it didn't. Yeah, I think my entry was a little late because I was looking at TradingView initially, and then it wasn't moving at the same speed as MT4. And if you guys remember, this candle here kind of closed a little late. For some reason, it was still pushing around, even though the candle, it was like a minute after. And that kind of threw off my entry. So it's all good. It happens. But for the most part this week, there's only one loss, so it's not a big deal. The losses are bound to happen. Yes, Steven said no more revenge trading. Yeah, don't revenge trade, Steven. I mean, if you can take, like, if you're just taking one trade a day, well, either way, the trade would have lost. So I'm hoping you only took one trade today, Steven. Did you double trade today or triple trade? Oh, man. So Steven said, yes, he did double trade. All right, Steven, don't do that anymore. If you take the loss on the first one, then we'll just leave it alone, right? Don't take like multiple trades. Eat the loss, move on to the next one because the next trade will give you the opportunity to break even or cover that loss. Gotcha. Yeah. In the future, Steven, just be disciplined and eat the loss. Just accept the loss and move on to the next one. Gotcha. So it looks like some people here did lock in some profit or no, actually. So Kenny over here locked in a loss. It's all good. I locked in a loss too. So we both lost the breakout right there. Seth over here, he took trades in both, or he took buy actually. Right, today's the 28th. Seth actually made profit on it. So he took the yeah, it looks like Seth kind of got in a little earlier. So Seth got in at 632. Oh, okay, I see. He just pulled out a little earlier. So Seth took it over here actually. Nice. Seth did pretty good off that one. He took the breakout, but he pulled out like in time to lock in his profit. So this is kind of what I was trying to do with my trailing stop. I was in profit like a couple $1,000 and then it didn't kick in my trailing stop. But Seth, he followed it and he pulled out earlier and he locked in profit off that. So nice work, Seth. Yeah. Nice work on like paying attention to it. So great work right there, Seth, on catching that. Scotty over here took the daily on the 1 minute for his sell right here at 647. He also took the daily on the 3 minute, total profit of 2,380. So that's probably going to be something that we'll implement, moving forward, because we've tested and it does work pretty well. Jamie over here as well, she took the loss on the breakout, but then she made a small win over here for the daily. So here's the thing, if we can let them both run to like full TP without using a trailing stop, then it would have covered each other. It would have basically equaled each other out. So this would have been a loss and this would have been a win. So I think if we're going to start applying both, I'm just going to let them both run. No trailing stop loss. I'm just going to let them run. So if one hits stop loss, one hits the other one hits TP, it'll work out because it will just balance each other out. So anything else over here? Let's see, Steven. Oh, Steven actually had a win on the first one. Okay, so Steven had a win on the first. Yeah, you shouldn't have double dipped into it, Steven, because it looks right here, because your profit goal was 500 for the day, right? On that first trade, you pulled out properly. When price pushed into profit, you locked in 695. This is already your profit goal. You should have just called it a day. Looks like you revenge traded right here, or you technically didn't revenge trade because you won on the first one. This is more so just over trading. You took another entry after you already hit your profit goal. You just got greedy and then you took a loss right there. So it's all good. It happens, Steven. Going down over here, Tiana, nice work, Tiana. She took the buy over here, and then she took some sells, total profit of 2,116. Nice. You took this at 641. 641 was, I think that was the same time this 3 minute came up. Yeah. So this 3 minute came up right here at 642. Tiana took that trade at 641, like right as it closed. And she locked in some good profit right here, 2,116. Yeah, I might have to start taking this daily. I'll take this daily with you guys at 3 minute and then possibly the 1 minute. So I think we can add these on. Just make sure to use proper risk. So don't use like too big of a lot size. I might just have to lower my lot size a little bit so I can take 3 different trades and have enough risk to withstand it. But for the most part, it looks good. Because if you win all 3, that's even better. If you win the breakout, that's like 2%. You win the daily, that's 2%. Another 3 minute daily over here, that's 6%. So 6% gain on pretty much 3 trades. I still like the 10 minute here, but it just doesn't come up as often. Like a lot of the times this thing like never comes up. Or if it does come up, it comes up like way too late. So I think the main focus here would probably be for sure the breakout, because we already know that works. And then this daily entry if it's a counter trend. So it'll be pretty solid. But yeah, great work right there, Tiana. And Shannon over here as well. Shannon locked in 660 for the day. Looks like Shannon stayed away from US30 and everything else this morning. She traded NASDAQ right here at 653 and gold. So great work right there, Shannon. Some more profits over here for Al. Al locked in a total profit of 4,673. So nice recovery right here, Al. I'll take the breakout over here. He took a loss. He double dipped into it. Unfortunately, he took a loss, but then he took the sells here at 640 for the 3 minute and the 1 minute. And this is what I was trying to get across to you guys. So Al here actually took all of the trades that I mentioned, and he recovered from that loss there. So for this one over here, the breakout, he took a loss and he actually cut his losses a little early. But for the 3 minute daily over here, and he let him run. So you can see the red strips here. He let him run with the trailing stop. He took the 3 minute daily and the 1 minute daily, and they pretty much offset his losses on the breakout. He ended up with 4,673 in profit. So this is what I was trying to show you guys, that even if we take a loss on the breakout, you can cover it on the dailies right here and make even more profit. So nice work, Al. And thanks for doing that. So like we have a visualization of like what I mean now with taking 3 trades here. It looks like you double dipped into this one, but if you just didn't take one of these, then you'd be fine because just 3 of these would count down here. Breakout, 3 minute, 1 minute, heavy profit to cover that loss. Let's see. Deswell said, hey, Sean, coming to Cali to pick up a jet. Oh, nice, Deswell. When are you coming down here? See, Steven said tomorrow will be better. Great way to end the week. Yeah, definitely, Steven. Yeah, Matsy said tomorrow we'll be back with the edge till then. And I agree. Yeah, so those are going to be the 3 strategies that I'm probably going to be looking at. It's going to be, and I'll just put a list right here so that you guys can see. 3 strategies during the live we will follow and likely take. First is going to be the 1 minute. It's US30 1 minute breakout. Always take this if present. And this is a good thing too, because sometimes the breakout doesn't come up. Like yesterday, there was no breakout, but if we took the 1 minute daily, it would have hit to US30 1 minute daily counter trend, and 3 K2 US30 3 minute daily counter trend. So basically, these are the ones that we'll be following. This is good that we have other ones to apply just in case, because sometimes a breakout doesn't happen. These don't always happen. Sometimes the breakout won't happen. Sometimes the daily won't happen, but these will cover it. Yeah, no, definitely. Alice said, thanks. Losses bother me a little, but that's part of the game. I have confidence that I'll make it up and then some. Yeah, exactly, Al. And you did that perfectly today. Kenny said, what makes tomorrow any better than today? I think they're joking, Kenny. They're not being serious. They're just being optimistic. But there's nothing necessarily more that makes tomorrow better than today. Tomorrow's actually riskier because it's Friday. But I don't think there's anything specific happening in the market that makes tomorrow better than today. Steven and the other people in the group are just they're just joking about tomorrow being better. Let me check the news actually. So we have high impact news tomorrow at 5:30. It's core PCE price index. We have Chicago PMI at 645, and then we have revised UOM consumer sentiment at 7. So there's no actual there's no catalyst indicating that tomorrow's gonna be better than today. Let's see. E's asking, what percentage are you going to risk? Because if it's 2 each, yeah, it wouldn't be 2%. It'd probably be like 1.5 or 1% E if I plan on taking 3 trades. Because you can only risk 5% per day if you're trading FTMO. So if you're doing 1%, that's 3% risk. I think that'd probably be best. Or you can do like a 1.5. Hamidi mentioned it looks like it'll be downtrend in the day. Let me check the bias real quick because it might be swinging back up. Let me check the bias real quick. So the bias over here shifted a little bit. It shifted back in the opposite direction. It was at 59% earlier. A lot of people on the short side ended up getting stopped out when it initially pushed up, and then or they pulled out, and then now it's starting to go right down the middle. So this still hasn't been strong. Typically, in order for this to be a strong bias, we need it to be 60 or 65%, maybe basically 60 to 65% or more in one direction. So we need this to be at least 60 or this to be 60 for us to have some sort of bias. It's been below 60 for the past, I guess, month now or 2 months now. So there hasn't been a strong bias. We don't really have a direction to trade in and be confident in that direction yet. Looking over here at the fundamentals, are currently bearish now. So this is going to offset each other. The fundamentals here are indicating a sell. The retail sentiment over here is indicating a buy. So with that said, they both clash, and now it's going to be considered neutral. So there's no bias in the market. It's basically neutral because this is indicating a buy, while this is indicating a sell. Looking over here at the heat map, we'll refresh this real quick. And this is currently, it's pretty mixed as well, as you can see. There's some stocks that are red, some stocks that are green, some stocks that are neutral. There's more here red, but there's still some green stocks. So it can still shift back up, but there's no there's no clear bias. Like this would have to be like pretty much majority red or this majority green for it to have a clear bias. But with that said, the bias is currently neutral, and price can really go either way. It can either go up or it can go down. There just isn't any clear direction as to where price is going to go yet. And you can see from this point, I'll go ahead and just mark up the high lows real quick. The high lows will identify market structure. So I'm going to mark this up real quick. And then once we have this marked up, we can try and analyze a little further to identify, is price going to keep pushing up or is it going to go down? So this is the 1 hour time frame. And I'll pretty much go from the 1 hour down to the 1 minute. 30-minute right here. 15-minute. 10-minute. 5-minute. And 1 minute. All right, so looking at this here, I mean, overall this week's been, it was anticipated to be risky because it is earnings week. So that's why you get a lot of this like spiky movement. So there was high impact news here at, I deleted everything else when I reset it. So opening price was right here at 6:30. London open was right there. And I think there was news here at 5:30. All right, so as you guys can see right here, let me mark up opening price as well, or the opening candle at least 6:30. So you can see where price kind of pushed down from this point. Price pushed up slightly on open, and then it came down, and then now price is just ranging around this area right here. So with that said, this can easily just break out in either direction. There's no clear direction yet as to where it's going to go because it is now ranging. But yeah, it was bearish here initially. Typically, I like marking up 6:30 to 7. And then 7 to 8, because this is typically where price is going to choose another direction. We had the initial move here from 6:30 to 7, which is bearish. Now from 7 to 8, price is kind of consolidating and ranging. If it ends up breaking below, yeah, it might continue dropping. But if not, it's probably just going to keep ranging until it, actually chooses the direction to push in. So, and it's also the end of the month, like Surin said. Typically at the end of the month, this is when like options contracts start to expire. If people are trading the monthly contracts, and you start to see a lot of this like unusual movement, right? The end of the month and beginning of the month is typically where stuff like this happens because price becomes heavily manipulated. If you guys are familiar with the options market, typically there's like strike prices that are set in certain areas. And when price gets near it, it's either going to be manipulated past it or below or before it, because it's going to, that's usually where people will make money. I don't trade options anymore, so I'm not sure where the strike prices would be for US30, but it would be a good identifier to identify where price may be manipulated. I'm not sure if anyone here trades options for US30 or for the Dow, but if you do, you'd probably be aware of like where those strike prices are. But other than that, there's not much going on here. You can see prices going sideways. I think what you look out for here is for the breakout. So as price starts to consolidate and squeeze tighter down the middle, you're going to be looking for the breakout in either direction, whether it breaks out to the upside. You look for the retest and continuation, or in the opposite direction, if price breaks out to the bottom, look for that retest and continuation there. Let's see if there's anything else here. John's a trailing stop loss kept the daily counter trend from recovering the loss. Yeah, I think in this case right here, now that we're taking different trades, I probably won't be using the trailing stop anymore. I'll just let them run, because if they hit stop loss on one, the other one's probably gonna hit TP. So like John said over here, he took the daily counter trend but he was using a trailing stop and it cut him off halfway. So instead of having a full profit on this to cover the loss earlier, he got cut short. So I'm just gonna stop using it since we have multiple opportunities to enter trades. I just got to lower my risk now. So let me see what my risk would be. I'm doing probably 1.5% risk of 200,000 and 1.5. 3,000. Okay, so if I was to do that, I would have to use a for the daily. I would have to use a, I think 6 lot. Yeah. So for the daily, I'll be using a 6 lot. And I'm gonna have to be quick with this to identify what the 6 lot for the daily, for the breakout daily. What would our lot size be for the 3-minute Medi? It's a smaller TP, right? It's like 300 pips. Probably be a 10 lot, I think. Yeah, it's 10 lot. Okay, cool. Thanks, Medi. All right, so I already got my lot sizes in mind. Using a 6, I'm going to be using a 6 lot for the breakout, 6 lot for the 1-minute daily, 10 lot for the 3-minute daily. So I'll keep that in mind for future reference, like for say tomorrow. Because I just want to be risking about a 1.5% risk. So say, for example, if I was to win all three trades, 1.5% risk times 3, I'd be making a 4.5% gain on my account. So it's not bad. I mean, like today pretty much the breakout loss, so that minus 1.5, I'd still be up 3% today if I was to take the daily for the 1-minute and the daily for the 3-minute. So we'll play around with that. Thanks, Sean, for the tip. You know, I never thought about doing, well, actually I did think about it, but I didn't actually test it enough to see if it actually worked. But you know, shout out to John for pretty much giving us that tip on like what the TP stop loss should be. And John does pretty good back tests. I mean, if you guys have seen John in the past, you know, John's been part of K2 for a while. His back tests are pretty particular, so, and specific. So whenever John gives me, you know, his data, it's usually pretty spot on. So for the data that John provided for us, he mentioned that for the 3-minute strategy, he tested it for the past 32 days using a 300 TP stop loss, 79% win rate, which is great. I mean, anything above 50 is good. Anything above 75 is like amazing. So 79% win rate, it's a 1-to-1 risk to reward. That would give you pretty good profit. 67% win rate for 500 TP stop loss. And if you do a negative risk to reward, 300 TP, 500 stop loss, the win rate is 87.6%. So that's a pretty big win rate. I mean, I'd take the risk for those trades for sure. If the win rate is that high and consistent. And I think for Maddie as well, me and Maddie tested the 1-minute breakout. That had a pretty high win rate too. I think there was like, I can't remember how many trades, Maddie. Do you remember the number of trades? Because we can calculate the win rate here. I think there was like 22 trades and then maybe like 2 losses. So basically 20 divided by 22, it has about a 90% win rate for the breakout. So, I mean, it's pretty solid. And then this week we had 2 more wins. So I guess there was 3 trades this week. So 25. So basically 22 divided by 25. It's still at an 88% win rate for this month so far for the daily, for the breakout. So each strategy that we would be applying for the daily, for basically during these live sessions, the breakout, the 1-minute daily, and the 3-minute daily, if they all have above, you know, 70% win rate, 79% win rate actually for the 3-minute, that's pretty, that's a risk that I'm willing to take because you have an edge in the market. Basically anything over 50, you'll have an edge because these strategies are 1-to-1. So if you can have at least a 1% edge at the end of the month, you should be profitable no matter what. So yeah, I'm going to do the same thing, Maddie. I'm just going to take the trades, no trailing stop, just going to let them run. I think that'll kind of give us peace of mind. instead of having to like watch it, follow it, and then take partial profit. So yeah, no, definitely. Thanks for this. B said GDP fell 9%, 0.9% in the second quarter. The second straight decline as a strong recession signal. So this is pretty ironic. I think this, so if you guys followed the news yesterday, the Fed spoke, Powell, and he said that we're not in a recession. So look what happened here. Powell spoke right here at 11:30. He said that we're not in a recession, which blows my mind because we're in a recession. There's no way that we're not in a recession, right? Or we're not going to a recession. So Powell said that we're not in a recession. He basically manipulated price, pushed it up. And then now this was a correction back to the downside. He pushed price right here. Price just consolidated for a bit. And then I'll look at this on the 10 minutes. It's actually easier to see it on there. Okay. So the correction is probably going to push back down and fill this gap here from Powell's speech yesterday. So yesterday at 11:30, Powell spoke right here. If you guys followed the Fed yesterday and Powell's remarks, he basically said that we're not in a recession, which makes no sense. He says we're not in a recession. There's no need to worry. And he pushed price up. Price is pretty much correcting from what he caused yesterday. He caused a manipulation in price when he said we're not in a recession. He pushed price up. Price kind of consolidated pretty much all day. And then this morning, price pushed up because this is where people followed the news from yesterday, right? Because people thought price was going to push up. And this is why we kind of followed it, because the trend was pushing up. Unfortunately, we got suckered into this move here. And now price is coming down. So basically price is just correcting back down to fill this gap here, this push up, right? So as price continues to push down, this would be your target area, this area, for it to pretty much fill this movement here. So just keep that in mind if you guys are still trading. I'm not taking any other trades today. I already took my loss. I took my L for the day. And then I took a small win, but I got pulled out in profit a little too early with the with that 1 minute daily entry. Yeah, Cern said after his speech, the bank said there is a recession. Yeah, no, and I agree too. It's just crazy. I mean, like, this is why you got to kind of focus on the news, because like people, if you weren't like following the news, you wouldn't understand like why this pushed up right here. This was like clear manipulation based on Powell, but Powell's known for that, right? Powell usually pumps price up. Yellen pumps price down. So today Yellen is supposed to speak. I don't think she's speaking yet, but they do the opposite of each other. Powell pushes price up because he's very optimistic. Treasury Secretary Yellen over here is the opposite. She's big on regulation. So I don't think she's speaking yet, but it's tentative for today. If she does speak, I think price will continue dropping lower, because Powell's like, oh, we're not in a recession. I'm pretty sure Yellen's going to be like, oh, we actually are in a recession. Powell's like, you know, he doesn't know what he's talking about. But those two are the opposite people. So whenever you're looking for Powell, or whenever you're looking at Powell speak, he's typically going to have good things to say about the economy. Yellen has bad things to say about the economy. It's like a balance between them two. Let me scroll up real quick, see if I missed anything. Let's see. Jason said, where's the London mark? Sorry, Jason, I just saw your message right now. The London mark is, I already passed it actually. It was like right here. It was at 32,197. I think that's for your major entry, no? Oh gosh, yeah, you did. You made over 600 bucks. Nice work, Jason. There's a zone here. Why not going further? So price broke outside of this range right here, but it isn't really doing much at this point. It's just continuing to consolidate a bit. I think eventually it'll continue pushing. So what you're looking for at this point, as price breaks out of this range, is you're looking for the retest. Price didn't retest it. It actually pulled back into the zone. So this is just a fake out right here. I wouldn't enter the sell just yet. what you're looking for is you're looking for price to break outside of it. You want it to come back for the retest, not actually break into it, but just retest the zone and then come back lower. So until you have that confirmation of the actual direction, then it's not going to be useful. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to move this down a little further and drop this down further as well. So now you're looking for price to break below it again. You want to confirm the retracement or breaking close below, basically retest of the structure and then continuation. If you have that there, then it's probably going to continue dropping. But it hasn't actually retested it. It kind of just pulled back in. So it just extended the range a little further. Yeah, exactly, Jason. So Jason said exactly, Sean, you're correct. Once it breaks and retests, it will run down. That's how you'll confirm the direction. And yeah, I agree with you 100%. So we're just looking for it to break below. If you guys are looking for a trade, I'm not looking to take anything else for today. I'm just going to accept my loss for the day and prevent myself from taking any other losses, right? It's just all about discipline, guys. If you guys have a trading plan, you got to stick to it. Like for me, if I'm just taking the breakout, I'm only taking the breakout. I'm not looking for any of these other trades here, even though there's some trades here that do look good. I'm going to stick to the plan. I'm going to take the breakout. I'm going to take the daily on the 1 minute and take the daily on the 3 minute. But that's about it. If that doesn't come up, then I'm not going to take any of these other scalps. Because I want to show you guys that if you take only a few trades a day, you can still pass your challenge and do very well. Like for example, today, if you were to take the trades from today, you'd still be up about 2% or so, or 1.5%. And that would still get you closer to your goal of passing, which is going to be a 10% gain. See if there's anything else here that I'm missing. Thanks, John. So John actually sent me his spreadsheet here. Nice. So John said stats since June 13th, the 30 TP points are lower because you can use a bigger lot size and end result is higher profit. I started collecting statistics where you take the trade when it's in 20 points drawdown. Not all trades draw down 20 points, but overall it wins the greatest dollar amount. Gotcha. Okay, so here's the spreadsheet of John's testing, applying the 3 minute daily. So yeah, this is pretty solid right here. John, thanks for this. So looking at this right here, using a 50 TP stop loss, he had 23 wins, 12 losses, 65% win rate. Looking over here, 550 TP, 30 pip stop loss. Looks like the stop loss might have been too close. He has a 51% win rate. So I'm going to look at like which one has the highest win rate, which is going to be obviously negative risk score, 30 TP, 500 pip stop loss, 85.7% win rate. Enter trade at 20 point drawdown. So if you wait for the pullback and then you enter 83% win rate. This is the one that we're going to be applying 30 TP, 30 stop loss. It has a 71.43% win rate, which is really good. Counter trend trading right here. Okay, gotcha. So this one right here is for taking the normal entry. So using normal entry with no bias. This is still pretty good. It's 71% win rate. If you don't use the trend meter or anything, just look for the first valid signal. This looks pretty solid. Looking for the counter trend trade, it's actually even higher, 74% win rate. And then going with the trend over here. Oh, this is total. Okay, so total right here. With the trend, 57% win rate. Without the trend, 74. So I think we'll apply it with your confluence, John, because it looks pretty solid. If you're applying it with the trend, it looks like you should be using a 30, 300 TP, 500 stop loss. That's a 71. So maybe we can play around with it. We can adjust our parameters if that becomes the case. But for the most part right here, this looks good. Yeah, I will post this in the group so that you guys can see it. John's win rate spreadsheet for 3 minute daily. Perfect. Thanks, John, for this. If you guys want to take a look at it, it will be right there in the groups. So pretty solid. Looking over here, Jason posted some more profits. Let's see, Jason over here. He's currently pretty solid for the day. He's up about $300 right here across all of his accounts. This one's up 51K down. This must be, or this is total, I think. 51. So nice work right there, Deswell. Or not Deswell, sorry, it's Jason. So total profit for the day, Jason locked in a total of 1,370. Nice work, Jason. So solid work during these conditions over here. All right, so price still hasn't pushed below off here. So price is still in a range. You still want to wait for this to confirm as it pushes along. Let's see, Maddie said 3-minute daily. Jamie's asking if anyone's trading views frozen. Mine looks fine. You might have to just refresh it, Jamie. So if your trading views frozen, just you can hit Control R or Command R on your computer, and it'll refresh it. Maddie said a 3-minute daily pending. I think the 3-minute came already, Maddie. So there wouldn't be any more dailies after that. This one was a daily for today. The sell that we looked at earlier. Yeah, Patrick said that might coincide with the 15-minute intraday signal. Yeah, no, definitely could. So, I mean, those are pretty good. I mean, I think that's a pretty good lineup of strategies to take. Basically, just 3 different once-a-day strategies, so you don't have to overtrade. I feel like the problem with the scalps before, and that was the main reason I didn't want to show you guys the scalps to begin with, like the variations, they work very well if you apply them properly, right? A lot of people started taking a lot of shortcuts, and that's why I don't like going over the variations or like those quick scalps during these live sessions anymore, because I just don't want you guys to take, you know, risky trades like that and end up losing your accounts. The variations and the high-low reversal strategies and stuff like that, basically all the 1-minute strategies, they all work well if you use them properly, but you know, greed does come into play because you do see them win very often. Like if I just look back right here to see how many entries came up, there was actually a lot of entries that could have been taken. So like, for example, up here, there was like a V1, right? This could have been taken for a full TP. We had the pending momentum there that would have applied. So that'd be a V1 right there, full TP. Going back over here, there is nothing there. There's one right here, another one, another V1, which would have been a full TP. So these scalp strategies still work perfectly fine. It's just not meant for the beginner trader, right? If you guys are an advanced trader, or if you guys know what you're doing and you guys can apply it, then great, keep applying it. But I don't want to keep showing you guys these scalps here, which they are very profitable if you do them properly, but I don't want beginner traders to be applying them and then, you know, blowing their accounts because they're over trading and wrench trading and whatnot. But there's a bunch of like V3s here, another V3 right here that came up, full TP, another V3, no, not V3 there. I think that was about it. There's about like 3 or 4 V3s, or 4 or 3 variations that came up right here. And they played out pretty well. What else was I looking at here? But yeah, so basically, if you guys are still, I mean, you guys are more than welcome to apply the scalp strategies that we used to go through before, but only apply them if you guys are comfortable with taking them, and if you guys can stay disciplined with following the requirements. You know, the bias requirement is going to be one of the main ones that you guys need to use, because that's going to be the real deciding factor whether, you know, you're taking a risky trade or not. I think the thing that kind of pushed me away from taking the the scalps was like when Kurt was here, right? So if you guys remember Kurt, who was in a group previously, yeah, he had a real big problem taking like identifying the bias. And I think he kind of showed me that there's going to be certain people out there that just won't get it, like confirming the bias. That's why I don't want to show you guys those type of strategies anymore. I want to give you guys something that's easier to apply. Like I think this breakout and these daily strategies are going to be a lot easier because you don't have to do much thinking. You're kind of just looking for that one entry and taking it. There's not going to be a lot of moving pieces here like there are for the other scalps. So yeah, no, Deswold said, I think just taking the breakout and the 3-minute daily is a good idea. Yeah, no, definitely. And it'll provide you guys an easier understanding as to like managing your risk, since you're only risking like X amount per trade. So price still hasn't broken outside of this. Nice. So Rashida over here actually saw the V1. This is the one that Rashida is referring to in the group right now. So Rashida said V1 hit full TP. There's a V1 right here. There's a double body rejection. Pending momentum. Bias was bullish because the sentiment here, I mean, it's not very strong, but it is still bullish. So this is the V1 that Rashida is referring to, and she took it, hit full TP. So just like I mentioned, like just now, guys, if you guys know how to apply this strategy and you guys are comfortable with taking them, they still work very well. It's just only take them if you're okay with taking them. So full TP right there. Nice work, Rashida, on catching that. I just don't want too many people getting sucked into these scalps because the scalps are addicting. This is like, I've seen a lot of people do really well with scalps. And I've seen a lot of people do very bad with scalps. If it doesn't fit your trading style, then don't apply. I think these daily strategies will be fine. It doesn't have to fit anybody's trading style. It's so easy that you can take it whether you're a scalper, intraday trader, swing trader. It's really just focusing for a couple minutes and taking them when they appear. So nice work, Rashida. There's actually a high-low scalp right here as well that came up. So I don't know if you guys spotted that right there. There's a high-low scalp that came up right here. 1 minute high-low scalp. Confirm overall bias, bullish. Confirm previous high-low. It's high-low right there. Confirm breaking close past the high-low, which is this candle. Confirm the direction of momentum. There's a buy signal prior to it. So this right here would have been a high-low scalp. So 2 back-to-back wins right there. You could have doubled up on that if, I'm not sure if you caught it, Rashida, but Rashida identified the V1 right here, and then it was followed by a high-low scalp. Typically, those align with each other. The variations are reversal strategies, and the high-low scalps are continuation strategies. So they usually line up with each other. Like, for example, right here, let me show you this. This was a V1. And then it was followed by a high-low scalp. Not there, not there, right here. So there's a V1 right here, just like what Rashida did, V1, and it was followed by a high-low scalp right here. So you could have doubled up on that. V1, high-low scalp. Those are the 2 things you should look for. If you're looking for scalps, if you take a variation, you can follow that up with a high-low scalp because it's a continuation to the reversal. So the reversal happened here, and then this would have been the continuation. Other than that, let's see if this becomes a reversal here. It might be, might not. We'll have to see. Maddie said, going to watch this 3-minute. Curious to see if it's going to hit against the trend. 3-minute buy signal against trend. Full TP for 30. Let's see. Yeah, no, this worked right here too. So Maddie, this is the one that Maddie's referring to. He's going to go and back test pretty much. He's going to go in the 3-minute, and he's going to back test every counter trend entry. So that'd be solid, Maddie. I mean, if you find it where it's consistent all throughout, maybe this is something that you can take all throughout the New York session. The more data we have, the better. And this is why it's beneficial to be in the K2 community, right? because when the members find something, we typically share them with each other. We're not like hiding these strategies from each other. Like, for example, this 3-minute daily, I had no idea that this worked on the 3-minute. Des was the one that initially introduced it to us because he was applying it and he had like an 86% win rate. So Des was making a ton of profit off this. And then John took it into under his wing, and he made it even better, identifying the counter trend trades. So, that's the benefit of being in the community, because we're all helping each other here. We're all looking to make as much profit as possible. And whenever you guys have ideas and you guys share it, we all help each other to make the strategies even better than they already are. Because typically, if I introduce a strategy, it's going to have at least like a 70% win rate or a 65 to 70%. So when you guys include like, your analysis with it, you guys find little things that make it better, it just increases our win rate even more. So thanks guys for the input, and this just helps us all do better. So other than that, let me see if there's anything else here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. It's 7:41 right now. I typically trade until 8. But if you guys have any questions, I can answer whatever questions you guys have. But as of now, I just don't see anything for us to take. The 3 main strategies that we were looking for already applied. 3-minute daily, 1-minute breakout was a loss, 1-minute daily was a win. Yeah, other than that, I think that's about it. Looking at this here, there was no break and retest. Same thing that we've been looking for this morning. Price didn't break and retest this area, so there's no direction yet. And then same with the opposite here. Price broke above it. It came for the retest, but it kind of got pulled back into this area here for the range. So the range here just pretty much got wider again. So until we get that confirmation, the range is just going to keep getting wider and wider. Eventually it's going to squeeze again. Once it squeezes, it'll finally break out. But you don't really want to trade in prices ranging like this. It's not very safe because it can easily just shift back into a fake out. So let me see if there's anything else here for me to look at. Nice work, Tiana. She's been taking some buys over here. So she took that swing back to the upside. Same direction as Rashida's buy here. It looks like a couple more buys here that came up. There's another V1, I think. There was this is the same one we looked at earlier. V1 high-low scalp. Solid work right there, Tiana. Let's see. Patrick said, in a tough scalping market, best not to get greedy. Yeah, Patrick here killed it. So he took a couple scalps here. 729. Let me look at the entries here that Patrick took. So Patrick took this at 729. Looks like he caught a scalp around this area here. So might have been the V1 or something down here. So nice work right there, Patrick, off that one. And then his second trade here, 736. Oh yeah, so he took the high-low scalp right here. This is the one that I mentioned earlier. The continuation from the V3. Right there. Timestamp for that 636. Take the trade right there, 736. 736 right here, full TP. Nice work, Patrick. So this is how you guys can pinpoint what trades are people applying, right? Just look at the timestamp, and then you look at the candle and you're like, okay, what entry came up right there as a high-low scalp? And if you guys want to be really careful, you can even look at like previous entries. So what you can do is you can still use the same confluences. So if you just want to apply the high-low scalp, use a confluence checklist, initial strategy confluence. This is one of the confluences we look at. So this high-low scalp happened, you look back at the previous low, there's a V3. Again, right here, if you want to look for a high-low scalp, say right here. So if a high-low scalp comes up right here, I think this will probably hit. So I'm going to look out for. If that candle closes above it, it could be a high-low scalp. It's got about 30 seconds left on it. So I think this will probably hit if it does. It's got a few seconds left on it, but it does look kind of like a, no, so it didn't close. So unfortunately, no high-low scalp right here. I wanted to show you guys an example of it, but MJ said pending signal. No, for the high-low scalp strategy, it's a continuation, MJ. So you're actually trading with the direction of momentum. So for the high-low scalp right here, that's one of the differences between the strategy. This is why this can be used in conjunction with a variation. So for this one, you want to confirm you're trading in the direction of momentum. It's a continuation after the reversal has happened. So looking at, so here's another thing, right? There's, oh, that would have been nice. So if it closed, it would have hit TP, but it didn't. So unfortunately, no high-low scalp there, but you can see that if it did close, it would have pushed up. But using this as an example, here's the additional strategy confluence. So you can still look for another entry here, but looking at this right here, there's actually a V3 that was, or no, there wasn't actually, because it was no pending signal there. But just using this as a confluence, just using it as a confluence here, this would be a V3 confluence. And if price pushes up to here, I know it's super far away, but if price does end up pushing above here, this can be considered a high low. I know it's pretty far up, but it could be considered a high low possibly, if and when it gets to that point. All right, guys, it's 7:47 right now. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, looks like we'll be wrapping this up soon. So unfortunately, the breakout did lose today, but overall, the breakout is still heavy in profit overall for the week, from Monday and Tuesday. So applying this plus the other daily entries would be pretty solid. Some more profits here by Scotty. Scotty took another sell. Let's see when he took this, 1740, 740. It's like you caught a sell somewhere around this area. I'm not sure which strategy Scotty was playing, but Scotty over here did lock in a total profit of 3,415. Okay, gotcha. It looks like a smaller profit, so it's just a quick little move that you took earlier. Take another one at 706. Oh gosh, okay. So I'm just looking at the trades that Scotty could have taken. So I'm looking at this one before where he made a bigger win at 706. This was a pivot scalp entry right here. So looking at this timestamp right there at 706, there's a sell momentum. Trend meter is red. That is a pivot scalp entry, if you guys are not familiar with that. So as you guys can see, if you guys are, like I was mentioning earlier, you know, there's some people in K2 who are still applying the scalping strategies, which is perfectly fine. This here, confirming the trend is bearish, you know, price is below the pivots, trend meter is red, valid K2 momentum signal, trend meter matches it, it's below pivots 3 and 4, everything lines up. Take this for a sell, full TP. And that's basically, it looks like the trade that Scotty took here. He took it at 706, which is the timestamp right here. This entry came up at 706. So nice work, Scotty. Off that there. Valentine over here too. Valentine said, hope been good, bro. Had to scalp a bit of US30. Nice. So Valentine over here did hop back onto US30, took a couple scalps here, locked in a total profit of 7,328. So pretty good scalps right here. He took scalps in both directions. Earlier this morning, he took took some sells, some more sells, one buy right now as it swung back up. So profit right there, Valentine. All right. So other than that, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, you guys are welcome to email me or message me on Telegram. You know, I'm here to help you guys out. If you guys have any questions, always feel welcome to message me or message in the group. You know, we're all here to help each other out. We're not here to hide anything or I guess keep secrets from you guys. Whenever I see something that works, I'll let you guys know. Typically, that's what I do. Like this morning, I was trying to show you guys this thing for GJ. Let me see if I can find another one here. Okay, so for this, for this strategy right here, basically, it's basically a high-low. It's the high-low scalp, but the parameters are different because this is applied on the 4-hour. Because you can literally, so here's an example of it right here. Let me just show you guys here. I know typically we don't let the candles break past it, but for this specific strategy, I mean, you can because it's on a higher time frame. So let me turn off the pivots. The pivots aren't really necessary for this strategy here, just looking for the high-low. So let me just show you guys what I identified when I was helping someone with the strategy here. These are like for the members who still want to trade Forex and just continue to trade it. Basically, you want to look at the trend meter down here when it turns blue, right? Because when it turns blue, this indicates that price is consolidating. So from this point right here, this is where price turned blue, or the trend meter turned blue, and you're looking for the high lows because these high lows are going to establish the range, right? You're basically waiting for price to break outside of the range. So we'll just say, for example, right here, this is where you would start looking because the trend meter looks blue. The reason why the strategy works good with Forex is because Forex pairs are ranging assets. They go back and forth, so they're going to range a lot. And what you're doing is you're basically just waiting for price to break outside of the range. So you're using the trend meter here to identify the, you know, the direction of price. Is it consolidating? Is it moving directional? Is it retracing? Anything like that. Right here, it's blue, so it's now going into consolidation. So when it goes into consolidation like that, you're going to mark up the initial low, which is going to be right there. If this disappears, then you have to update it to the next low. So for example, you can see it disappeared right there. You move it to the next low right here. Now you're looking for the high. It gets pushed down again lower right here. Okay, so this low looks like it's been established at this point. You're looking for this high here to establish, which it has right there. And now basically what you're looking for is you're just looking for a trade in the direction of momentum, right? Because price is now ranging. You can see right here we have a bullish momentum. So you're looking for price to break and close past this high low right here. Right here, price broke past it. It didn't close above it. So this is not going to be the entry. And this one right here is now going to be the entry because it did break and close past it. So with that said, the cool thing about this strategy is that you can technically go for a 1-to-1 or a 2 or a 1-to-2. So for example, here you're going to put your stop loss around the size of the candle. I started to notice that like it looks like 500 is typically like the sweet spot. I mean, not 550, 50 pips. So if you wanted to do this here, you can do a 50-50 because you want to have at least some leeway for it to bounce around in case price does spike around. You do a 50-50 here. This is going to be TP1. All right, so for TP1 could be right there. Your TP2 could be 100 pips. So basically either 1-to-1, when price moves to that point, you move your stop loss and profit. So you guarantee a 1-to-1, or if you want to do that, you just move your stop loss and profit and let it run further. So with that said, price pushes around a little bit, goes up higher. So you can see right here, this candle blasts right through it. So you could have went for a 1-to-1 there. You could just pulled out at 50 pips, or you could have just moved your stop loss and profit and then let it push up higher. And you could have locked in, 2-to-1 right there. And this is something that you guys can play around with if you want to. I literally was on the chart for like 5 minutes and I was like, okay, this person's looking for basically a Forex strategy that works on GJ. And I mean, like it's easy to spot because like you can easily see like if you guys tell me what you're looking for, I can create a strategy for you guys just like within a few minutes because it's easy to see these patterns. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions about this, I'll test this myself further. I don't know, this should probably work for like a lot of the directional pairs. I think GJ is one of the good ones. Maybe odd JPY as well, UJ, Euro USD. Basically, the pairs that move a lot faster than others. Let me see if I can find one more example here to show you guys before we log off for the day. So that if, in case you guys want to, play around with it, it will be available to you guys. So let me go over here again. Here's another area. The problem with the 4-hour though is that this trade won't come up very often. Like you'll be waiting for a while before it comes up again. So again, right here, this is where markets started to consolidate a bit. So we have a high right here. Then we have a low right here. And then again, you're just waiting for this to pretty much break and close past it. Low got pushed a little lower. All right, so you have the range right here. You already know where price is ranging because you have the high-low indicator. Right here, price broke past it. It didn't actually close, so no entry right there. And there goes the entry at this point. The thing that I have to figure out is going to be where the stop loss TP is going to be at. I mean, I've only spent like 10 minutes on this strategy this morning before we went on live, so I haven't really figured it out yet. But I noticed that there's a couple places you can place it. You can place it at the low of the candle, or you can place it at the previous high low. It just depends on like how far of a move you're looking for. So if you were to do this right here, it looks like it's about 60-60. That would be your TP1, I guess. And then if you want to go further, be 120. So you can see price reaches TP1 right here. So at this point, you can move your stop loss and profit, pretty much guaranteed profit at that point. And then if you wanted to go for the 2-to-1, looks like it would have hit right there as well. So the strategy is pretty solid, but you can see how long it takes. I mean, you can probably set it up, and then when it does hit, you'll be ready to take it. But this thing took about, so it started consolidating at this point right here, and it didn't close past it until like 14 days later. But if you're waiting for these like really good entries and you take a big lot size on this because you're expecting it to hit, this could be a big payday. Like you'll see some people who will swing trade like this, where they'll wait for an entry for like days and days and days for it to eventually come. When it does come, they take a fat lot size and they make a huge profit off this. You can probably apply this on different time frames, but I haven't tested it myself, so I can't tell you what pairs or what time frames it works best on. This isn't an efficient strategy. I literally thought of this in like 10 minutes. So if you guys want to play around with it, feel free. I haven't really tested it enough to confirm with you guys, whether it works accurately, but it's like a 2-to-1 risk to reward or a 1-to-1. So even if you take a loss, you're still going to be in profit long term. So, all right. Other than that, guys, I think that's it. It's about to be 8 o'clock. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to email me or message me on Telegram. I just don't see anything else for us to take right now. Just a reminder, our main trades that we're going to be looking at during these live sessions are going to be the breakout, 1-minute daily and 3-minute daily. We'll be documenting that, forward testing it. And yeah, I mean, we'll see where it goes from there. So, all right, guys, have a great rest of your morning. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will be back here tomorrow, same place, same time, as we close out the trading week for July week 4, I believe. So.